6, 7 years ago, I heard a phenomenal testimony on YouTube about two U.S. soldiers that got murdered. Basically, they were down in a basement in a military base, and they went into a room that they were not authorized to go into. It's kind of like they were just snooping around. They went into this large room, and what they found was modern day guillotines. And they freaked out, and they started telling people. And within, I don't know, a short period of time, they both wound up dead. And that story got onto the internet. I clearly remember it. But their shocking story is not the only one talking about military bases and guillotines. Why are modern guillotines on military bases throughout North America? Maybe because they plan on killing us. This story comes from a Christian truck driver that delivered a shipment. He happened to look inside of his semi-trailer and probably got the shock of his life. He was delivering modern-day guillotines to a Marine base in Billings, Montana. There is no doubt in my mind that guillotines are being stored in selected military bases. In fact, I absolutely believe that 1 out of 10 U.S. soldiers are wicked, murdering criminals that would have no problem with murdering you and me and the guy down the street. They would have no problem. And there's even bizarre stories about prisoner boxcars, rail cars that have shackles already built into the floors of the boxcars. I do know this: if you get left behind the rapture and you're taken to a FEMA facility or UN soldiers come and take you, don't fear. Say your prayers, get as close to God as you can, and maybe you can be so filled with the Spirit of God that you can smile while they chop your head off. Wouldn't that be the greatest way to die or leave this earth? To smile as they chop your freaking head off. Because when you study up on the Bible and what it has to say about Babylon the Great and the end result of Babylon the Great, and then Hollywood actually puts in their movies the future of America and how they seem to unpleasantly line up. I mean, if you have not seen this movie, you have to watch this movie. We know that America is Babylon the Great. Okay, it clearly says she's surrounded by many waters. Okay, America is surrounded by many waters. Rome is not surrounded by many waters. The Bible also says that great city Babylon, the great merchants of the earth, will stand afar off in fear and horror at her destruction and all that. Well, guess what? The great merchants of the earth could not go to Rome if their life depended on it, because Rome does not have a deep port harbor. Okay, it's talking about New York City, that great city Babylon, where the kings of the earth meet. Well, the UN headquarters just happens to be in New York City. It's talking about New York City or America. But Hollywood has put in front of your face the end result of America. All the land's going to be burned up. There's going to be cannibalism. You can't grow crops. It's just not possible. The only way to survive is if you have a powerful anointing where you can pray over empty pots and you have food, and you can pray over empty water jugs and you have water. That's the only way you're going to survive. But what I wonder, who is actually going to kill you with the guillotine? Is it going to be U.S. soldiers, or is it going to be the UN soldiers? There's already videos and talk about UN soldiers in Chicago. There's been so many prophetic dreams about the UN soldiers that come flooding into America after the big earthquake splits America in half. And then it's followed by an economic collapse. And then total martial law, and then these UN soldiers, these foreign troops, there might even be 2 million or more that come flooding in as the international help. And they're going to be the ones that most likely try to take your guns or try to take you to FEMA facilities. That's when the shooting is going to occur. There's been other people that have had these dreams and visions where they see fighting against the government right before Russia and China and its allies attack America. And we know it's going to be an antichrist-like government during the time of the invasion. So when you start putting all these together, You can see that it most likely will be under an antichrist-like martial law scenario right before the attack. Here's a video I uploaded, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. It's about the Prophecy Club interview with that Maurice Galar, where he had an in-depth vision and dream about basically the destruction of America, this big massive earthquake. Then he saw where the UN soldiers come flooding in, and he said that they were like zombies. And basically, if you didn't go with them to the FEMA camps, they would just kill you in your house. I had a dream America was bombed in New York City and Florida, and Russian troops invaded us and were putting America in FEMA camps. Now see, I always wondered if the New World Order set up all these FEMA camps for future invading armies to maintain and control. In other words, the power elite, they might tell the military that they're building all these FEMA camps for civil unrest, just in case there's an economic crash or some major disaster. Whatever deception or excuse they are telling the military is not what the real purpose behind these FEMA camps really are. In fact, years ago I stumbled upon a video on YouTube, 5 Visions of End Times. And basically this guy, he saw where foreign troops were rounding up Americans and they were trying to sniff out the Christians. And it really makes me wonder if it was all planned out from the beginning. The power elite are going to use foreign troops to kill you. Here's a video I uploaded a couple months ago, and it's got quite a few comments. I've gone through some of the comments, and there are actually some very important pieces of knowledge in some of these comments they left. Check out this comment. This is one of the reasons why they want Americans disarmed. Georgia has already passed a law making it legal to carry out capital punishment with guillotines or guillotines, however you want to pronounce it. A person killed this way can have their organs harvested, whereas if you get lethal injection, you cannot harvest. And at first it sounds too crazy to believe, like, man, surely that can't be true. But when you go check it out, yeah, it is true. Georgia has apparently passed laws, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, where they can use guillotines to kill people. And of course, our mainstream media is not going to say anything about it. They're not going to advertise or promote this. I wish more people understood what's going on here. The UN will be the ones to kill Americans. When you see the UN trucks during martial law, you know what's coming. Yeah, I definitely have to agree, because all the Christians throughout the decades that have had all these disturbing dreams, these end-time dreams, they always see foreign troops rounding up Americans in these FEMA camps or these modern-day concentration camps. But you have to understand, how easy would it be to round people up to FEMA camps when there's no grocery stores, when there's no gas stations, when it's like a hopeless situation? If they were more concerned about feeding their family, they're going to give up their guns. And I would like to point out, remember down in Houston after the big flooded water, they're doing like martial law exercises where they're doing gun confiscations. I mean, it's kind of obvious. After a big disaster is the best time to take guns or round people up or, go to FEMA camps. And basically that's what they see after the massive earthquake that splits America in half. The guy that can build the cheap underground bunker without leaving a money trail in the right location now is going to be the guy that survives to the end. Imagine if you bought some, let's say 10 acres of land out in the middle of Montana. No one cares about northern Montana. And you have figured out how to dig a generic or cheap underground bunker without anybody knowing about it, and you start storing up on food and water, and you figured out how to secure your bunker so it can handle the massive earthquake. Guess what? You're going to be the guy that survives to the end. Just remember, Don't ever take your cell phone or any GPS tracking device to whatever location you have planned to survive at. Because UN soldiers are going to go back and they're going to track where all you've been, these repetitious movements that you've done, and they're going to come and find you. So keep that in mind.